On, be, on behalf of Dr. Vithalraoi Vikhe Patil Foundation's Institute of Business Management and Rural Development for this webinar on issues and challenges in supply chain management, I welcome Dr. Joyanta Hajra sir, who is a very well-known and eminent personality in the field of what you call supply chain management. Sir is a star alumni of our institute, and we feel very proud to introduce Hajra sir. Sir has completed his BSc General from Bidhan Chandra Institute, Burdwan University, and secured third position in the college. Later on, sir has completed Bachelor of Engineering with Metallurgy as a subject from Regional Engineering College, Durgapur. Sir has completed Masters of Business Administration, Supply Chain Management, 2013-2015 batch of IBMRD. Sir has got very wide experience in the field of supply chain management. You see, sir has more than 21 years of experience in the field of supply chain management with wide variety of challenges like and issues, handling routine as well as strategic decisions of supply chain management, warehousing, logistics, transportation management, production and quality management. This was the core areas of Hajra sir. Friends, dear students and my colleague, we are very lucky to have our prestigious alumni like Hajra sir for today's session. So without wasting much of time, I hand over this session to Hajra sir to enlighten our students about the issues and challenges of supply chain management. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for your kind words. And respected professors, teachers, and dear students. It gives me immense pleasure, and I'm honored to conduct this small seminar or kind of session webinar for this all my dear students of the college. Hope this will be useful as a tool for your learning and development in your career. So I think Hindi or English is better.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. English is better.
Okay. Yeah. So I will be mostly speaking in English. Then Hindi में अगर जरूरत पड़ेगा तो maybe to bring the change in tempo and all this I may sometimes, but most of it will be in English. तो बहुत लंबा चौड़ा भाषण मैं देने वाला हूँ आज. तो मुझे अगर कुछ गलती हो गया तो आप लोग सर है संभालने के लिए. And dear students, enjoy the session instead of getting tensed. So that is my only advice. तो 3-4 घंटे लगेगा ये सेशन होने में, ठीक है ना?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
नहीं मैं डरा रहा था, उतना तो बोर नहीं करूंगा मैं. Okay. So Pardesi sir told that I had this qualification, educational qualification. Other than the educational qualification, I had worked in various organizations like Hindalco and then various multinational like Bekart in Ranjangaon. Now I am with Hoganas, heading the supply chain sourcing, global sourcing team. So supply chain is quite an interesting topic nowadays because everything what you now at a click of a button you want it in your house, and supply chain is a way of doing it. So digitalization, supply chain are all interlinked. So I will be talking about what it is, what is the challenges on supply chain, So, so how to change the next slide?
I'll just enter, sir. You can enter, press enter, sir.
Okay.
Yes, yes, sir.
So
Yes,
there
sir.
will be a small introduction. So this is वो 3-4 घंटा नहीं होने वाला. I try to squeeze in between 40-45 minutes. ये total session होने वाला है on the aspects, issues and benefits of supply chain. Present with starting introduction तो मैंने दे दिया, सर ने भी दिया है. So to start with, we just brief background की economic situations कैसा है. And then we'll have this main topic, discussion on main topic. When I am entering, why it is not getting?
Yes, sir. It is
Yeah,
moving, sir.
yeah. So we all know about the GDP of India, how it is going through and what impacts it has on the GDP and the economy of India. So this is a plot of the GDP, what it was. GDP of India was good. In 2016, it was 8.2%, and then it was dropping to around 6.2%, 6.8, 6.5. Then it came for COVID days in 2019, 4.04, and then it took a reverse turn with a negative GDP. Really, it was a bad year. We all know the COVID situation has taken a great toll in all people's life, mostly the labor class. And then in 2021, there was a spike but because of some sudden buying, pent up demands went up, but 9.5% was the GDP. And as per the world economy, India's economy expected to grow by 8.3% in as declared by the World Bank, which can be around 8.3%, can become a double-digit growth also, 10%. So 8.3 can become 9.5 or 10% approximately. That is the expectation what the India government is also predicting. So this is one aspect of the GDP. So we see a good momentum of growth for the coming period of time, coming months. The GDP improve means there will be opportunities in various sectors like manufacturing, the agriculture sector, the food industry. So, and mainly if you see the export has almost increased by 49% in 2021 as compared to 2020 for electronic goods. So a lot of digitalization is happening, a lot of electronic industry is coming up, and so there is a great boost in the industry associated with this. Now there will be a budget in 2022, 1st February, and definitely the budget, everybody expects that there will be an income tax benefit, the tax slabs can be changed, and we have more money in our hand, which will give people more buying power. Also, the healthcare systems. We were afraid that this COVID, Omicron, what has happened in the, so people are now very thinking that they should have proper insurance policies, because otherwise the kind of expenditure it is happening in healthcare system. So insurance sector, there is a lot of boom. Even insurance premium has increased by almost 30 to 40%. So in Hoganes, we basically I would like to share my experience with Hoganas also, because currently I am handling this sectors of insurance also. So insurance premium, what was there almost a year back with Bajaj Allianz or Tata AIG or ICICI Lombard, everybody has almost made their insurance premium risen by 50 to 70%. So why this is? Because lot of the claims are there. Previously, what used to happen, suppose we have 100 people and 100 people we did insurance, they used to charge us, suppose 100 into 50,000. Sorry. So that was around 5 lakh rupees. But the claim started increasing. The claim started increasing, and so because of the claim, they're not able to make any profit. So they have to increase the premium to compensate this, have some profits in their books also. So the insurance sector is has increased their premium. So, but overall, this GDP, the economy is looking very promising, and with all this is mind, so there will be good opportunities for every one of us, every you of us who is looking for a job or looking for some entrepreneurship possibly. So that will help you to grow. So supply chain and global supply chain. So supply chain, you must have heard supply chain. What is supply chain? So I will not repeat that. But what is global supply chain? Global, now everything is global basically. It is not limited to local things. So you can see this ship at the right hand corner with lot of containers. So it is not restricted to one particular region or one particular country. It is now cross country. Trades and business has expanded to different countries. So global supply chain is a process of administering and directing a network of entities to produce and distribute goods and services internationally. So it is not about one country. So we at India take maybe products from US, from Europe, whereas our products goes to Europe, US, and many other countries. So it is a vice versa chain. And through this globalization, the aim of the global supply chain is to maximize profit, reduce inefficiencies, and deliver goods and services timely. So this is very important. So global supply chain, previously what you used to think that imported things will cost us more. ऐसा एक दिमाग में हमारा रहता था, अरे import मतलब वो तो imported quality है, बहुत पैसा ज्यादा लगेगा. But now the situations has changed. You can get commodities, you can get articles, items, all imported, maybe at a price cheaper than what is made in that country. For example, India. So you aim to buy different a mobile which is very costly in India. Maybe if you go in US, it is more cheaper because their technology is far superior. But bringing in India also will have some import duties in it and raises the cost. But whatsoever, there are things which are better in quality services, and there is a competition. If there is competition between countries, we will get, finally the consumer will be benefited by this. So that is the significance of aiming for global supply chain. So Hoganas is again, I will refer Hoganas. Now, not only Hoganas, but many companies are opening their operations in various countries other than in the base country where they operate from. So they are called multinational. So Indian multinational and foreign multinational. So I work for a foreign multinational, whereas you can also, for example, Tata's. Tata's or Birlas are an Indian multinational. They have their plants in various other countries other than India. So that gives us impetus for them to work better, to have to see more challenges in those countries and adapt to new way of working and give best efficient services and products to their customers. So what are the challenges? Basically, the global supply chain challenges. So there are basically 10 global supply chain challenges majorly. So I am going to talk about them one after the other. But how did it start? What is this? Why global supply chain? Why global supply chain challenges? Now everybody is aware about Amazon. So Amazon is a global player in delivering goods and services to many locations, different countries. So by the Amazon effect has resulted in consumers and increasingly business who expects a frictionless shopping experience with virtually instant results. The effect has set fire to a global supply chain arm race. So what does that mean? That means we are no longer waiting for a product to go to a shop and buy it. We are in such a urgency of getting a product that we wanted yesterday. To be very saying it sarcastically, not today, but yesterday. I wanted yesterday. So people are now used to this online shopping platform where they do not have time to go to a shop to avoid the traffic, and they get satisfaction also in getting the product. There are various policies available. It is not that once you get the product, you have to use it. They have a 30-day return policy also. So all this has led to the Amazon effect. So the ultimate challenge of global supply chain is what? Is to satisfy demand quicker, cheaper, and with less waste than competitors. So there's a cutthroat competition everywhere. Now, initially we had Amazon, then Flipkart, then Myntra, then there are all other online shopping platforms where you are able to make very, very selective choices of your way of buying, your prices, everything is displayed. You don't need to go anywhere. So that's the advantage of online shopping, and that's the advantage of these challenges that has helped to give customer a good experience and help benefit the consumer ultimately to choose the product of their own. So what are the top 10 global supply chain issues? So now you know supply chain is basically not individual, it is always global. I am taking global because it is not local, it is always global. You are studying MBA not to be a part of, maybe you can start small, but later on your aim will be to reach to the outside world. Slowly you may start a small entrepreneurship in your own city or town, and then you may have to go in different states, in different parts of the country. And then beyond that, maybe the local neighboring countries. You have first go to the neighboring countries and maybe some Asia Pacific, some Europe, depending on the kind of product you have, what the market penetration, you have to do a market intelligence for that. So global supply chain is the key now. So lead times. What is lead time? So lead time is a time basically from when we place the order till the time you get the material. So in short, this is called lead time in supply chain. Now supply chain, you must be knowing basically supply chain is a very broad term, and supply chain has various other departments like planning, then purchase and procurement sourcing, and then vendor development is part of that, and then logistics and warehousing. So these are the different elements of supply chain. So now supply chain as a head, maybe you have to have an end-to-end know-how of supply chain, and you have to finally cater to the customer needs finally. So it starts with the procurement or the planning, basically, not the procurement, but the planning. It is planning from what? The customers' requirement are coming, the orders are coming, so you have to fulfill that requirement. They have requested date, then you have to confirm them a date, and then after from that planning and forecasting, your requirements will get generated. It can be automated through a MRP system, that is the material resource planning, that is in M3 you can generate. You need not have to, if you have the safety stock levels defined and the forecast is fed in every month. So M+3, maybe the last 3 months forecast plus the next 2-3 months forecast, everybody combined together, so that requirement can generate. And most of the things work like that. Then you have agreement with suppliers, your contractors. So lead time is decided based on the type of product, basically. If it is a high lead time, generally high lead time products are basically products in industries like refractories. They are having high lead time products, whereas short lead time products are maybe products, maybe say if you buy from a trader is having facilities to store product at his end, whereas a manufacturer has to produce that product for him. So lead time from a manufacturer is higher than the trader. But at the same time, if you buy the product from the manufacturer, it will be cost effective than the trader. But sometimes you have to take from the trader. So you have to have a balance. You have to have a judgment when to take from when, where, and how, which is the more efficient. Sometimes your orders will come unknowingly without any plan. So then maybe you have to take from a trader. So lead time is a very big challenge. So buyers increasing expect faster delivery. So every time I order something, I want, even when my customers say, "Mujhe 3 दिन में माल चाहिए," but I have to make at least 7 days for preparing that material. So how can I give it in 3 days? So it is through, if I know the customer's order in time, if I know his buying pattern, so I can keep some safety stock, and then we can manage. Now, however, global supply chains often measure shipping times in weeks and months. These long lead times make it challenge to balance supply and demand effectively. So globally, when you order globally, basically all the raw material or finished goods, whatever it comes, either it comes by sea, either it comes by rail, or it comes by air. So, but then sea, generally in sea, it takes the highest days, and that is the most usable mode of transportation in supply chain across the globe. Why? Because that is the very efficient route and very cost-effective route. Secondly, air freights are very, very high as compared to sea freights. So the lead times, again, it will all be a heavy. If I take by sea, it will take at least 45 to 60 days to reach my plant. If I order from Sweden, so its selling time is almost 45 days and 15 days is customs clearance. So almost 60 days I have to order before I have to get that material. So that is high lead time. But now sometimes there are strategic decisions taken by companies to air freight certain items, which are maybe the quantity is very less, but they cannot afford to keep such high lead times. So that strategy is also taken. So what is the best way of doing this? How to avoid these lead times or how to optimize these lead times is through effective planning. If planning is the key to having good lead times. If you don't plan in time, your lead times will change heavy. How I am saying this? Give an example. Suppose I have to order something from North America. And North America, I know it takes almost, after I place the order, they say that 4 weeks they take to deliver that material. But, and again, 40 to 45 days for selling the material. Now, in case I order material in the month of December, maybe 15th or 20th, without knowing that they will be closed down for Christmas from December 22nd to first week of February. So entire 15 days are wasted. No matter how, whether you have given the order on 20th or 24th, it will not get executed anytime. So you lose that 15 days. So we have to plan well. So we have to know when plants are running, when plants are closed, whom to approach first, how to get the approval. So effective planning is the key to getting the right lead time. I talked about air freight. Other than the air freight, the cost is exorbitant. Sometimes also the customer agrees that I will bear the cost of air freight. But considering that also, air freight is not good for the sustainability reason. What is that? Now we know bringing by air, it creates a lot of pollution. So there are a lot of carbon footprints. And companies now are working to reduce emissions, reduce carbon footprints. So in fact, companies are trying to become more greener in the modes of transportation they are used. So air transport, air freights are not at all advisable unless it is quite in an urgent or emergency situation. So JIT, what is JIT? So JIT is nothing but it is a Toyota way of working just in time. So if you have heard Toyota, the brand company of manufacturers of car, so they were nowhere as compared to Ford or General Motors, but they became the world's best, efficient, productive, and highest car makers through their ways of working, through the lean methodology of working, by their reduced inventories, just-in-time approach, and customer savvy. So now, even our customers, some customers, mostly all automotive, mainly the automotive, they follow this just-in-time approach. So I have customers in north part of the country. So where they have told that if my line go down so they are vendors for Maruti. So if my line goes down, I will debit you for any loss in my production. So such is the competition. So what we have to do? Either we have to arrange transportation in such that neither they will keep inventory at their end. So just in time is just whatever material is required for the production for the day, they will keep, and next day again they will want fresh material. So how we are doing this? We are doing this through better transportation, through our good planning, developing nearby warehouses close to the customer, where customers are delivered from that warehouses. So we have a dedicated warehouse in north, we have a dedicated warehouse in west, where most of the customers, and one in south. So customers should not suffer in case of any extra requirement also that can be given to them through those warehouses. Because we know the minimum lead time of traveling from India from one state to other, it varies from 1 day to maybe 3 to 4 days through road transport. So just in time helps both the customers as well as the suppliers to understand each other's pain area and improve their efficiencies. So now because of this current pandemic situation, so a lot of delays are happening. So what I told earlier in my slide, the selling time of ship has now increased. So what is happening? So previously I used to get material from China in 23 to 25 days, but now it is crossing almost 30 days. So you might be thinking, how does that 5 day matter? It matters very much because it is not about a single order. It is huge volumes of orders which is coming. So 5 days in multiplied by that inventory will be a locked up capital, which I will come to the later stage. So we cannot have delays, but that is beyond our control because of this traffic congestion nowadays because of this pandemic. So these delays are happening and it is crucial to have, so how this can be avoided, how this can be uh, mitigated, these delays. You cannot help it, but now you have to talk with your customers. We have to talk with the shipping lines that, see, in case there are delays, kindly give us pre-intimation. There was a date, if some of you after completing your MBA will work in different areas. Some will work in planning, some will work in sourcing, some will be in imports and exports. So in imports, there is a date called IGM date. What is IGM date? IGM date is the manifest date that the captain of the ship, after he starts selling, he decides and punches the day it will arrive in the port. Suppose one vessel that is starting from Shanghai port of China and of in maybe 5th of February. So after 5th of February on 6th or 7th, he will punch a date that it will reach Navasheva on 2nd of March. So IGM date is almost 99%. It gives assurance that it will come by that date unless there are no extreme emergency or some external reasons for delaying. So the shipping lines have to be very like the transporters. We rely on good transporters, not local. For example, very reputed transporters like TCI, VRL, they are reputed transporters. They will charge you a premium for their service. But at the same time, you can 100% rely on their credibility and their service. They will, whatever they will promise, they will commit to that. Similarly, good shipping lines, good freight forwarders will ensure that whatever promise they are keeping to the commitment, the clearance, the lines, they will stick to that. So it is very important that we have agreements in place with the partners of the shipping lines. So cash flow. So in supply chain, cash flow is again a very important topic, which is an issue. So everything in business finally boils down to cash. If cash is the king, the buzzword is cash is the king. So without cash, there will be very difficult to run business. So companies which are cash rich, they can afford to have good business with maybe their suppliers have good credit terms, their customers pay in time, so there will be a good cash flow. But accounts payable, accounts receivable. So what are these accounts payable and accounts receivable? So accounts payable is the account, that is the amount to be paid to your suppliers after you buy a product. So sometimes suppliers will ask you, give us advance. But you will say, okay, I cannot give you advance. They will say, no, sir, we cannot work like that. I have to take advance, without which, how can a small supplier? But, sorry, that is a good negotiation skill of a supply chain person, sourcing person. How will that advance be converted to a credit period? Maybe you can start with 7 days, 10 days, then slowly once he gets the feel of it, that you are paying in time, you are giving good business, then he will slowly get converted himself and give you good credit also. So that I have done in my career. So when I joined supply chain with Hoganas, so everybody were getting payment in advance. Then I realized that there is a very big cash crunch, and accounts payable days are very, very less. So account payable days needs to be high. So we slowly discussed with the suppliers and slowly converted them from advance to initially 15 days, then 30 days, now it is 45 days. Now accounts receivable. So what is accounts receivable? It is a reverse of accounts payable. So you have received goods, and for that the customer has received goods, and for that customer needs to pay you. But customers are also not so easy. Sometimes they're very tough, and they will always say that, see, some other people are giving me good credit, you are not giving. So they will tell that, okay, I will give you in 10, 15 days, but they take 30 days, 40 days. So you are not getting your payment in time. So there is a disbalance in cash flow. So that is how account receivable and accounts payable go hand in hand, and you have to balance them so that there is sufficient cash flow in the company. So what is CCC does? It is a cash conversion cycle time. So from the time, so there are certain companies who have a target. Suppose I have 100 rupees. So if I spend 100 rupees, I should get back 130 rupees or in such and such time, maybe in 30 days, in 40 days, or 100 days. Generally, it doesn't happen in slow days, 40 days. It happens around in 100 days. So I buy raw material, I pay supplier payment, everything. So in 100 days, that 100 rupees should come to 140 rupees to my pocket. So the less the CC days, the better it is. So cash conversion cycle should be minimized. So cash flow is important. And so for how to do that, so create a detailed calendar. When have I to pay them? What are my expenses? And ensure that time to time it comes. The accounts receivable comes in time. Data management. That is one of the greatest challenge nowadays. Now you see, unless you measure, you cannot control. So for measurement of anything, you need to have data, isn't it? So nowadays, everything, the internet is the greatest asset what we have. So everything is available in the internet. But that is a kind of information. But I am talking over here about data. So data is nothing but various records, the documents, what you are having while running the company, the purchase record, the sales record. So these are all records. So these are data. So by that data analysis, you can control how my purchase prices are going, the purchasing index. So there is a purchase index world over. So if the purchase index, manager index is 50 and above, it is said that we are having good purchasing in this year across the globe. So similarly, this data and digitization is the key of maintaining a good data. So now every company, almost every company is now working on ERP or SAP systems. So this is giving them good connectivity of the data across the various countries they are operating in. So the data is structurally fed and centrally controlled so that they have access to it and they can retrieve and use the data for their business purpose. Now there are always risks. So without risk, you cannot work anywhere. So you have to have risk, but the risk should be mitigated. There are geopolitical factors, like geopolitical factors are basically across the globe it is happening. Nowadays we see that Russia and Ukraine are having these bad relations. Now the Brexit, where Britain took out. So these geopolitical factors has a lot of significance and impacts on the supply chain. So it is best hope for the best and prepare for the worst. So countries you operate in, suppose a company is working in 3-4 different countries and there are certain uncertainty in geopolitical situation over there. So their businesses will be in a risk. So definitely agreements with suppliers, we have multiple suppliers where we can source if possible, if there are problem in one area and sources from the different region or country so that final objective of the company is met and we do not fall short of. So accountability and compliance, this is very, very crucial. Business is now not about doing scrupulous things. So people would like to have companies who are ethical, who are transparent, and have businesses, internationally, businesses cannot be done with unethical practice or not following the proper code of conduct. The there are various policies of the government of the Factories Act where child labor is prohibited, unacceptable working conditions, unfair compensations are some of the unethical practices present in the global supply chain. So as a supply chain person, while sourcing, you have to look that whether this suppliers, not only suppliers his material which are in good conditions, good quality, good price, but he does not use child labor. He has ethical business practices, not get bribes his people for getting the work done. So there are supplier code of conduct where companies have to go an agreement and agree. So supplier code of conduct has a buyer gives to the supplier that you have to sign this, then you follow every bits and pieces of whatever written is over there. And then accountability and compliance also is related to sustainable sourcing. What I have already told, sustainable sourcing is improving the health of our environment or keeping intact the flora and fauna of this Mother Earth. So reduce carbon footprints by proper green energy, green material. In fact, we are working, sourcing is again working on parts of sourcing material which can reduce carbon footprints. So we have to find alternatives. Now you will say how a sourcing person can understand this. So it is not sourcing alone. He cannot work alone. It is, he has to work with other department. He has to work with operations. You have to work with maintenance. So all the user department, he has to work. So it is a synchronization. It is not about working as an individual. That purchasing manager will only purchase. So you have to be not only working at your own shelf or corner, but you have to have a collaborative approach while working. You have to get your people into your team to understand their requirement and give them and take their feedback. What is missing, what is not missing, what is required. So that is how you can have better sourcing and better sustainability. So quality control and defects. So again, quality issues can be challenged to manage. For example, business must consider the difference in acceptable defects and levels in different countries. So quality control is very important, and defects. So a small story, Japan and US story, then maybe I'll speed up in 1 or 2 minutes, the rest of it. So you know that how Japan is very, very, very precision in their product. So once, and US, you know, they had a lot of mistakes, a lot of defects in their product. So once what US ordered Japan machine parts, so 10,000 machine parts, and said that, okay, 2 defects are okay with us. So Japan, after receiving that order, was quite surprised. They said, "Arey, what is this 2 defects?" Then they thought how to do it, how to get these 2 defects, because they are not used to defects. So they could not do that defect. So they produced 10,000 parts and they separately packed these 2 pieces and sent it to US. So US, when receiving that order, asked Japan, why did you send this 10,000 and 2 defects? So Japanese people told that you told 2 defects are okay for us. So we could not produce these two defects. So you have to make these two defects separately, because in our world, we have 2 ppm levels. So in 10 lakh parts, we make two defects, but you have ordered only 10,000. We cannot make these two defects. So that is a short story about Japan and US. So quality is the key. So there are other aspects like language barrier, time zones, and exchange rates. These are also issues in supply chain, which I am not going to elaborate further. So I have given basic 7 key challenges or areas of concern in supply chain. And benefits of global supply chain. As I said, it is giving more option. Global supply chain can have significant sourcing advantage, more options. Lot of savings, opportunity to cut cost. Basically, now different products coming from different countries, we can have at better prices. So it is giving an effect to the consumer. So new markets. So there are for global supply chain, if I want to produce product in other countries, so it gives me enough penetration to other countries and gives my growth to the business. And there is a risk mitigation. Suppose there is a problem in one country, I can source this from the other country. So there is a chance of risk mitigation. And there are a lot of opportunities to learn. So if I have operations in Europe, I learned their way of culture, their way of methodology, their way of working, their style of working, their product, their taste. So it gives an opportunity to learn. So with this, I end my session on the issues and challenges in supply chain in today's world. Hope you like this. And now if you have any questions, I am ready to answer.
Thank you, Hajra sir, for your very what you called brief and deep introduction of that particular topic. I hope student definitely having some queries in their mind, or might have you might have ignited them with the supply chain challenges and issues. So student, if you have any question or any query to be asked to Hajra sir, you are welcome.
Hello, sir. Prerna here.
Hello. Yeah.
Sir, I have one question.
Yeah.
What were the challenges which you faced during the COVID pandemic? Like, means, what were the challenges that Hoganas faced during pandemic for this outsourcing, and how did you overcome all those challenges?
Thank you, Prerna. That was a very good question. Uh, we had various challenges in supply chain. Mainly, see, first challenge was the truck drivers that were coming with the material. Now they were coming from different states, and they were like treated like not so goodly in any way. So first of all, whether to let them in, allow inside. At the same time, they were bringing our material, without that which I cannot run the plant. So that was a big challenge, how to handle that. So we formed a committee in the supply chain that how the driver should be treated. We made a washing room for them where they used to take care, first get them clean, and then they were allowed inside the factory. We had made a separate barrier for them from our employees with a glass cabin, so that they can only give their papers. We had arranged food also for them, but during that time, there were the local areas, shops and the hotels were down. So they are hungry. So we had to arrange food for them. But we did it very nicely and they appreciated it. So that was one challenge which we did, and we were successful. Second challenges were what I discussed about getting imports in the time. Because of this congestion, of the shipping lines. We are not getting the material, imported material in time. Lot of inventories were piled up in the port. So, and people were not coming in office. So, what we did, we started working from home. We started giving laptops to our employees who are the key people who has to do this work in coordination with the custom clearance. So everybody was given laptops. So they started working from home. And you cannot imagine, like, we worked day and night, and it was very efficient that we could get the material. Even some delays were there, then we could convince the customer that this is a force majeure condition. But even now, as of today, after looking at those situations, it is very easy. It's a cakewalk for us now. So we are very complacent with the kind of working we are having right now. We know what to do, when to do, what to do, how to do. And we have streamlined the way of working of supply chain through this.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I think Gaurav Gaike has some question. Gaurav, you can ask. He has mentioned in the chat box.
A supply chain fresher student, what skills should we learn for become job ready? Okay. Yeah. That's a very good and common question you should ask. I think everybody is a fresher at the start, so not to worry about that. But be confident. Try to understand what you have read through. Be updated with the present conditions, whatever it is going, and know your subjects well. That is it, nothing else. So that will give you a good start, maybe, but don't look for a great salary. Okay, look for a good job first, which will be very relevant to the studies what you have done. Hope I have answered your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Students, if anybody has any query or question, feel free to ask, because sir is your super senior, Hajra sir, and he's always ready to help IBMRD students. Lot many students has benefited. We also organized one industrial visit to the plant for entire day, right, sir?
Yes. We had an industrial visit, and when in fact I was also part of the college, I used to deliver lectures.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I hope the student have got the concept of supply chain. So
Yeah, in case anything is required from my side, or any questions which you are thinking and cannot maybe ask you of some limitation of your shyness, but you always can come back to me. You can have my number from Pardesi sir. If you want to talk to me, I'm there to help you.
thank you very much, sir. So students, let us end the session, and on behalf of Dr. Vithalraoi Patil Foundation's Institute of Business Management and Rural Development, on behalf of Director of our institute, Dr. Sanjay Dharmadhikari sir, and the Alumni Association, we are having Alumni Association, sir. So Professor Dr. Shubhangi Poddar ma'am is handling the Alumni Association, and IQAC cell, Internal Quality Assurance Cell, Professor Dr. Suryavanshi sir. I'm thankful to, on behalf of all of our colleagues, to Jayant Hajra sir for spending your valuable time and knowledge content to enlighten our students in the field of supply chain management. Sir, your expertise will always helpful for us and our students. So we expect the, I know that you're always going to give us a support. I expect the same kind of support in future also, sir, from you, because you are one of the senior most person in the supply chain management fraternity in India, as I know. So we expect the same wholehearted support in future also, sir. So thank you very much once again, Hajra sir. Be in touch. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye, sir. Thank you. Thank you all.
Students, a feedback link will be shared. It's shared on your chat box. Just uh, go through the feedback link and fill that form, feedback link, so that you will receive certificates. So thank you very much, students, faculty members who have attended the session. Hope you have got some content, some knowledge, and definitely it will be helpful for all of us in the journey of what you call contribution to existing knowledge base. So thank you, sir.